procrastinate and not pay a price. At least Rod thinks I'm funny. Okay, I guess that's a bad message, isn't it? Then coming up, October 16th, Gathering for Peace and Healing, including at 3 o'clock, a Native American Blessing by Bear Waters. And at 6 o'clock, Stacy Pendleton will be working her magic with the Singing Bowls. Followed by October 20th, double whammy, the Blessing of the Animals and the pre-election party. Now, this has been moved, so if you wrote in your calendar what I said 3 or 4 times, that's wrong now. It's October 20th now, and it's from 1 to 4, the pre-election party featuring Jason Fetty and his band Bag of Kazoos. What could be better? Okie dokie. Happy Sunday.
Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. The throngs of the crowd. Okay, Kate. I would like to introduce you to Kate because she's going to do Mission Moments today.
Good morning. Okay, I am going to tell you about 2 charities that we support. The ASL, which is the alternate sleeping location, and Friendship Shelter. We have taken on ASL. We have every Monday night except the second Monday night. And we bring food out to the shelter for their evening meal. We are responsible. Oh, I'm Italian. Okay, we provide enough food for 40 before 6 o'clock each evening. And each team is responsible for gathering, cooking, and delivering the prepared dinner. If you would like to participate, please see me, because we can add another day if need be. And if you would like to contribute cash, just put it in the donation envelope and write for ASL food, and that will go directly to that fund. Also, we support the Friendship Shelter, and I really didn't know anything about that, and I'm going to tell you much more in November about it, but I wanted to give you the highlights from their first half year, January to June 2024, and it is incredibly impressive. They worked with 723 individuals. They had 52 new clients moved into permanent housing. It's amazing. 92 individuals in Friendship Shelter's permanent supportive housing program. 75 individuals sleep in a shelter bed each night. 100% permanent supportive housing clients retained their housing from last year. 97% clients with housing vouchers retained their housing from last year. And 250 plus clients in housing supported by Friendship Shelter. I mean, that is incredible. So, wow. Friendship Shelter brought me these as I'm studying for my November program, and so I just took the highlights of this.
So who's on your team and helping you deliver?
Oh,
The actual work.
okay. Kim, great. He wanted to know who was on our team that was delivering food. So we have the third Monday, Greg, Kim, Nancy, and I. And then the first one is Ann Cox and Sue Garber. The second is another entity. The fourth is Sally and her group. And the fifth is John Dombrick and his group.
Wow, that's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For all those people that helped. That's awesome.
Sorry, I've never used a microphone before. Lagunatics is a huge success. I'm just going to tell you. And I'm sitting here listening to things you're talking about. You all should see it, those of you who haven't yet. It is hysterical about laughing at ourselves. And this number we're going to sing right now, the Rainbow Connection, is in the show. But it's not what we're singing here. It is a guy with a puppet, but you have to come see it. One more weekend, there's a performance tonight at 6:30, and then next weekend, and I've got to plug this because it's so wonderful for everybody. First of all, I saw Don and Ann last night. They were there, and I haven't seen them in here in so long, so just to hug them. Secondly, you'll laugh at yourselves if you get to see it. And so much of what we do here, it reminds me of it. Now, they don't talk about this church, so you could be comfortable. I mean, we should have, but we don't. Next Friday and Saturday, 7:30. Sunday is the gala, and it's an expensive ticket. It's $125. It's the fundraiser, but you get all the drinks you want and a huge dinner by a fabulous restaurant. I don't know about you, but I can't go out and drink and eat for under $125 and a show. So it's worth it. And if you come and it's sold out, Bree's doing things like putting directors' chairs up and things. So she'll get you in there one way or another. Let's sing. We're such a big group here. Let's and I love the way you're all spread out. Gotta do the Muppet. Great, you guys.
Y'all sound amazing, as always. Although I have to say, I miss being in Bridge Hall, because see, in Bridge Hall, I could get you to move closer to me a lot easier. I miss that. But that'll come later. That's for a spiritual center. We'll get there. I hope that we have an opportunity this morning just to take a moment just to be in remembrance for all of our family, our kinfolk in the Middle East, for they too are searching for that rainbow connection. And as we think of them this morning, we also create this space in our own hearts to receive that which we need this morning. My family, let's hold a moment of silence, open our hearts for that which we need this morning. Only you know what that is. I'll allow you a moment to ponder it. Before we go into our gathering words for the morning, I want to just acknowledge two individuals who made what we have before us so possible. Could we have a hand clap for Joy Swabbing, everybody? Can we just clap for her? And then again, also for our community care team, Kate Hennessy, Kim Bailey, Nancy Wessel, all the folks. Give them a hand, give them a hand, give them a hand, give them a hand. Everything you see in front of you is their work, is their energy, their imagination. You know, Susan and I talked a long time ago about allowing our campus to sort of speak about who we are and what our vision for our future is. And so what you see around you is the next chapter, the next step in moving us there. And I'm so grateful for it. What do you think, Susan? Kind of cool, huh? Yeah, kind of cool. Let's go into a reading by John O'Donohue. I'll begin, and then your section will be in italics, okay? I'll start. And out of the way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. Yeah, I love this. Thank you, John. It watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises that sameness whispered, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, wondered, would you always live like this? Oh, I love this so much. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning that is at one with your life's desire. For your soul senses the world that awaits you. Beautiful. Thank you.
Rod asked me to do this again. This is from the show that I was talking about, Lagunatics at No Square Theater, is titled Laughing Matters. And this song, Laughing Matters, I'm only going to do a little bit of it. It's actually from a show called When Pigs Fly, which I just love that title. That just kills me if you get a chance to listen to or see it. I don't know if you're all feeling this way, but this really speaks to me. Live at 5 and CNN keep us all abreast of breaking stories that can tend to make us anxious and depressed. Problems with no answers hang on like some nagging cough, and every day some brand new issue rears its head to piss you off. Bad guys win, optimism's wearing thin, things are spinning out of control, cynicism's all the fad, world events can make us mad as hatters. Hate is here to stay, and justice goes to those who pray. Friends, these aren't laughing matters. The truth is scarier by far than anything that Stephen King could write. The stories in the paper are the daily small decline and fall, spelled out in black and white. Oh, what to do, what to do, how to take a brighter view when your noodle's totally fried. Human spirits need to be leavened by a little levity. So take those blues and bounce them off the wall. Keep your humor, please. 'Cause don't you know it's times like these that laughing matters most of all. So laugh today.
That's great. And maybe next week when I start at 10 o'clock, some of you might be a little closer to me next week. You never know. You never know. I might have some people sitting right here next week. What a thought. What a thought. Just a thought. Just a thought. I am grateful. I'm grateful that I can read this with you. Cyrus, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? For you are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. Hey. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates us. And then I wrote this part. Sweet Spirit, we sense your anger at the injustice that thrives in the world. We share your grief at the discord that rages among your children, the rejection of those who bear your image, and the oppression of those you know by name. We turn toward you for strength, sweet Spirit, and guidance to turn away from the norms of this world, the lure of self-righteousness, the appeal of comfort over justice. Embolden us to believe that another world is possible, and empower us to participate in its creation. Amen. Amen. So, about maybe 6 months ago, I wrapped up a course with my friends at Pepperdine University, which was all about the idea of social justice and bringing awareness to all the problems facing our world and doing what we can with our voice to make a change where possible. Understanding we can't fix it all, we can't know it all, but we can start somewhere. So in our final class, we were greeted by an artistic great man. His name's Patrick. And his goal for the day was to inspire us on day one to exercise our creative spirit through the art of painting. Now, I'm not a painter. I have to admit to this first. I don't have this skill set, but that's precisely why he wanted us to do it. We were in a room with about 15 pastors, and none of us knew how to paint. But he gave us the invitation to try. And so on day one, he said, I want to challenge you to paint a concept. He said, I'm going to offer a garden. I'm going to give you a model of a beautiful, green, lush garden, and I'm going to invite you to paint it. And he did. He provided the invitation for us to paint. And we did. And we all did our show and tell and told our stories and offered our imagination. It was a beautiful, beautiful, glorious day, only to realize that he was setting us up. It was a complete setup. Because on day two, he comes back and he says, I now would like you to paint something more abstract. See, day one was the garden, right, Sally? Day two, something more nebulous. He said, and I'm going to give you a chance to decide for yourself what that is, your own imagination. What would you like it to be? And so I thought about it, gave it some thought, and something came to my mind because we have been talking about a concept here at NCC in recent years that I'm still curious about. And every time I think about it, my mind goes to many places. It makes me laugh, makes me smile, makes me angry, makes me curious, makes me tense, makes me hopeful, opens me up, closes me in. the subject of joy has always perplexed me. For the better part of my adult life, that 3-letter word has always put me in a place of, what the heck does that mean? Not because I don't believe in it, not because I don't sense its power, not because I don't think it can make a difference in this crazy, chaotic world in which we exist, but because I simply have not been able to define it. I haven't been able to capture it. Try as I might, with all the words I can muster, all the learnings I've gathered, I have yet to be able to capture joy. And so I decided that day, conceptually, to paint joy. I decided I would paint it. And what came to my mind was this idea of joy bursting forward and flying free. And I decided I want to paint that. That's what I'll paint. And so I grabbed some greens and I started placing them on the canvas. And it was an interesting mix of green. As I felt my hand traverse the surface, I realized this isn't working. I don't feel this. I don't sense what I was hoping to feel in this moment. I don't think I'm quite capturing it. I actually took Patrick by the hand and I said, Patrick, this green doesn't work. And he said, well, that's because you're using a cool green. Maybe you want to use a warm green. So he handed me a warm green. And I started to place that warm green on my canvas. And I felt a little better. I felt a little more fulfilled. I started to put some pieces over there and do some squiggly lines over here and some jagged pieces over there, a little crooked line there. Yeah, it was a little more complicated, a little more nuanced. I felt that I was starting to bring in more of that kind of complicated, kind of exaggerated feeling when I think of joy. It was starting to feel more right, but I wasn't yet still getting it. I didn't feel that my heart was at one with what was being placed on the canvas. I had this desire to capture joy, but it just didn't stick. And so I went back to Patrick. And I said, Patrick, this warm green, it's getting me closer, but it's not quite there yet. I feel like I'm being too nice. I feel like I'm being too sweet, because when I think about joy, I have to remind myself that joy is not a mood. Joy is not a feeling. Joy is not an event. Joy is a deeper reality that just exists. It just is. Whether I'm having a good day, a bad day, or somewhere in between, joy is not dependent upon how I'm feeling at any particular point on any particular day. So I don't just want to draw something nice, because that's too little, that's too small. See, happiness and joy I can control. Happiness and joy are in my purview. Happiness and sadness. Spirit. Happiness and sadness are in my purview. Happiness and sadness are in my control. But joy just is. Joy just will be. And that's what I want to capture. That's where I'm going. I want to capture that deeper reality, beyond my happiness, beyond my sadness. Deep, dye in the wool, traversing through my veins, as vital and as important as the blood I have. That's what I want to capture. I just couldn't get it. I didn't feel I was measuring up. I couldn't quite get there. So Cyrus, take me forward a couple slides. One more. See, I went back and I decided ultimately that I can't paint it. See, I tried. The whole day I sat there. I went through all these different iterations. I tried to get to that place of comfort in my mind, and I just couldn't get there. I had to decide for the moment that you just can't decide to paint joy. What I started to realize, and maybe you already knew this, perhaps I'm just late to the party, is that joy is not something that we can create. It's not something that we manufacture. It's not something that we make up because we felt like it on a particular day at a particular time. What I'm now starting to realize more and more on my journey through this crazy, chaotic life, in a world with so much pain and suffering and hurt and injustice and wars, and then the problems happening here in our own community, people being economically priced out of our Laguna Beach, unable to find a place to live. And then we got issues with our economic system, economic inequity. We got a two-party system, which we'll get to when we do bad faith. All of this truth about where we are in our world, yet I'm saddled with the reality that joy is a treasure. Joy is mystery. Joy is a gift. Joy is. Next slide, Cyrus. And so as I say this, I realize that yet again, I'm dealing with a topic that feels unusual. Because in a spiritual world like the one in which we exist, it is true that most of the time, when we decide to do something, we have an anchor. We've got folks who are unhoused, who need food assistance. So week by week, we make possible a little bit of happiness and gladness in their lives. We do that. We have a situation locally where we have this chance to support our food pantry so that folks of all kinds of economic and different kinds of varying situations can have a moment where they're seen and they're given what they don't currently have. We have local help that we do. And then we have international help that we do, Malawi and all the rest. Even more than that, when someone needs some healing, they'll call up and they'll ask to have their hand held or provide a hug or a sense that someone sees them and cares for them. See, usually when we have a desire to do something, we've got a reference point. Someone that needs help, someone that we can serve. Maybe we need some help. Maybe we need some service. See, usually we have a reason. Usually we have some evidence. Usually we have a story. But when it comes to joy, when it comes to treasure known as joy, I don't always have that reference. I don't always have the story. I can't always put my finger on the genesis of it, yet it still is. See, what I'm starting to realize now in my own walk is that this deeper reality to which I'm speaking right now, it puts us in a place of kind of a different way of seeing the world, of seeing ourselves, of seeing those with which we meet. Next slide, Cyrus. I'm reminded of the poetry of the Hebrew children in Psalm 63, when they said, when he was in the wilderness, he spoke these words, "O God, O universe, O sweet spirit, earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My body yearns for you in a dry and weary land without water." See, this poetry speaks to me. Because as I think about where we are now in the world and the injustice that we're seeing here and abroad, the pain and suffering that is happening in real time, even as I say these words, I'm being pushed. I'm being challenged. I'm being stretched to realize that even as I see all these happenings, I've still got something percolating right in front of me. There's a potential for something. There's a possibility for change always. There's to do something with what they have, not just sitting on the sidelines waiting for someone else to save us. See, as I see what's happening in the world, I have to remind myself that there's a deeper reality just waiting to come forward. Yeah, there's a lot wrong. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of things I can't control. There are a lot of things beyond the scope of my power. But if I just take a moment, just take a deep breath, if I get into my place of mindful contemplation, I can remind myself, two things can be true at the same time. This ain't going so well. But there are people on the move. This isn't going the way I had hoped it would, but there's a community seeing the purpose. There's a community on a mission. There's an NCC at work. I'm reminded of a text by the great writers, all of them, Jesus, Rumi, women among all kinds of people, all kinds of stories, who tell us over and over again that as the world turns and as we live and breathe, the kingdom, the community, the beloved community is near. And it is bound by a glue, an impossibly inseparable glue, that as long as we believe in the power and purpose of love, if we trust in that love and its promise that it will not abandon us, that it will not come up short in the end, that it will have its day, that I will do my part with what I have and trust the universe to handle the rest, I can tap into that reality. I can tap into that energy. Focus and realign myself on that mission. Yes, that joy is, and my heart is open to it. Next slide, Cyrus. There's this crazy, chaotic, graceful world in which we live. And with every passing day of my captured by ArtStation, I am now even more convinced, and hopefully you are convinced with me, that the work we are doing, the journey we are on, the change we are pushing to make, not just in the spiritual world, but in the material world. Not simply bringing a message of love to folks of faith and no faith, but absolutely moving the needle to change the economic landscape of this town, Orange County, and the wider world. Two things are true at the same time. There's a lot of work to do, and we're doing ours. So I suppose now, perhaps, it's not about capturing the joy. Maybe now, instead of trying to control something that is ultimately uncontrollable, maybe instead of trying to define something that is ultimately undefinable, maybe, just maybe, if I will put myself in a more humble place than perhaps I've ever been as a leader, maybe the challenge for me and for you, for all of us, in our individual lives, in our daily lives, in our work lives, in our community lives, in our worldly lives, maybe we let go of the task of defining joy, and maybe we simply just make space for it to emerge. It's not about the capturing. It's about the making of space for it to come forward. Roxanna, I'm going to stop trying to define joy. My goal now is to simply make space for it to come forward. I'm going to stop trying to stand before you as if I have it figured out, because I never will and I don't now. My goal now is to simply make space for it to come forward. Now, what's interesting is, now that I'm more clear about that in my mind, I'm able now to be more understanding of when it's already happened. When I sit with some of you in prayer sessions, and we talk about your ups and your downs and your in-betweens, even in those times when we don't figure it out, we still feel that power of connection. We still feel that power of presence. We still feel that power of being together. Prayer brings me joy. Your presence brings me joy. When we come into this new room with this new trapping, this new environment, with our music and our decoration and our great, great feeling of being in our home, and I see your faces, that brings me joy. I can't define that. It just is. When we share a meal, when we share hugs, when Roxanna makes me laugh every Sunday morning, that brings me joy. She does it out of the goodness of her heart, but it makes a difference in mine every time. That brings me joy. Now, lest you think that this is just something for individuals to enjoy, let's remind ourselves that the purpose of this joy, the making space of this joy, has a worldly intention. For when we choose to let go of the familiar and make space for the bold, what can be, we are tapping into the power of joy. And when we choose to place the resource of the land that we inherited for the benefit of our spiritual center and the affordable housing that it will offer, we are tapping into the purpose and power of joy. When we choose to be among family and friends, to make space for them to be humble and for them to be open and for them to be curious with us about the next steps that we can take as a family to love and be better together, we are tapping into the power of joy. And when we take the time for our own selves individually to turn off the social media, to get away from the mainstream press, to just take some time and turn off the Facebook and just be in silence, be in wonderment, be curious about the things that we need so that we can keep living our lives amidst all this chaos in which we exist, we are tapping into the power and purpose of joy. And when we as an NCC stand united and full of intention that no matter what happens, no matter what anybody says about us, no matter the lies, the misperceptions, the deceptions, the crooked comments, all the things that get said when you're trying to make change, no matter what it is, we stand focused, we stand united, we stand committed to the power and purpose of joy. I'm not going to paint it anymore. I'm not going to capture it anymore. I'm not going to try to put it in a bottle anymore. I simply want to be a vessel making space for it to emerge. That's my prayer for you and for me. That's my prayer for NCC.
Reminds me of the two old ladies like my age driving in the car, and she runs a red light, and then she runs the second red light, goes through the third stop sign, and her friend says, "You just ran 3 stop signs and red lights." She looks at her and says, "I'm driving?" That's what it reminds me of. We're going to sing Child of the Universe. Do you all remember this? I didn't think so, me either. Let me play a little bit of the melody. Remember that? And then it goes. Does that sound familiar? Let's try it. 2, 3, and. Good. The heart and mind of all creation. Good. Sorry. The flow. And then. And it's amen, amen. Is that ringing a bell? You probably used to do it in here, yes. Now we're going to do I Just Called to Say I Love You. And I know you know that one. I love this song, if I can find it.
This is my song to you. I love you. That's why I chose this for today. This is for NCC.
I think Rod just captured some joy there. Here we go. Quick, who wrote this? Yes, Stevie Wonder. No New Year's Day.
Y'all sound so good. Give yourselves a hand. You sound amazing. Yes. I love that song. Always will, always will. All right, let's do this. Cyrus, let's go to the prayers of the people. Let's do something real quick. Next slide, next slide. I want to just do something with you quickly. We don't have a lot of time because we have to turn this room around for bad faith. But before we do that, I just want to ask you for 2 clear space-making moments, okay? Tomorrow night is a big night for us. We have a very important community meeting coming up at the Top of the World Elementary School. And I know that with your support and with your courage and your strength, tomorrow night will be amazing. It will be exactly as it needs to be. And it will be a beautiful step forward for NCC. So I want you to do something for me. Between now, tomorrow night, and even into the night tomorrow night, I'd like you to hold myself, your leadership team, your trustees, hold us all in your heart and in your prayers, in your spirits. All right? We're going to have our team there tomorrow night. I'll be there. Bill Whitty from Related California will be there. Our architectural team will be there. All of our support will be there. It'll be beautiful. As Roxanna said, I'm bringing the troops with me tomorrow night. It's going to be a beautiful night. So we will have everything we need. We will do our best with what we have. And now, the rest of it, we have to trust to the universe. Am I right? So let's take a moment of silence and let's be in gratitude for the preparation, for the organization, for the rehearsals, for the questions, all the work that has gone into making tomorrow night possible. Let's be in gratitude for the diligence, the professionalism, the preparedness. And then now, we create space. We make space for the joy to emerge. We make space for the unknown and the known. We create space for all of its possibility for us, for Laguna Beach, for our community. Let's hold this moment of silence in gratitude and longing for the joy that's in store. All right, and here's my second request. All right, let's hold this moment of silence, continuing, for all the UCC churches across our family, across the family of the UCC this morning, in countless pulpits across the U.S. Pastors are standing up this morning and calling us again to the importance of stopping the violence, ending the injustice, and pushing our leaders to speak up and speak out for Israel, for Palestine, for all the warring parts of our world. And we're even taking it a step further and saying it is time for our leaders to take care of us. Let's create the space for economic well-being. Let's make it possible for more affordable housing. Let's end our obsession with money and corporate power. Let's make the future of our nation about the people, not those in power. Let's hold this moment of silence. Let's do it together. You know, as you sit in silence, someone gave me a quote the other day. They said, Pastor, if the U.S. committed simply $500 million of the money we're spending on wars, we could fix a lot of problems in our nation. I said 500 million, Susan. I didn't say billion, I said million. Let's hold a moment of silence because we need it. Our country needs it. And now, in the time we have left, I do want to create a space for you. Perhaps you have a prayer, something you want to offer into this community of joy. I've got a few minutes for you to offer your prayer. I'm going to take the mic. And now, we don't have a lot of time, but I do want to give you a moment. So take your moment and share your prayer. We are here. We are listening. Who will go first? Okay. There you go. There you
I
go.
want to say a prayer of thanks for my current family, consisting of myself, my sister, and my son.
Thank you. Who'll be next? Okay, Patricia.
I pray for the courage to look deep within myself to see where I am at war, where I exclude people, where I judge. Because it has to begin with me before it can begin in the world. And it's a deep and painful look, but I'm willing.
Amen. And I'm willing to do it with you. I join you. Who'll be next? Okay, Maya. Hi.
Just some gratitude. John got through his knee surgery and is recovering slowly, so thank you for all your thoughts and prayers. And I just want to take a moment and just surround our love with those who are struggling and the season, of course, starts getting colder, struggling to find places to live, and also just feeling security in their own home environments. I think the thing that sometimes gets lost in our conversation is the suffering that people endure worrying about being evicted.
Yep,
And
yep.
I just keep hearing stories because of the work we're doing. So just to hold them and keep them in our circle.
In our work. Absolutely in our work. Absolutely. Thank you, Maya. Who will be next? Oh, okay. Would you meet me halfway? I love being in the sanctuary. There you go.
I in particular want to pray for you.
Yes.
I feel like it's such a big struggle for them to be open to really recognizing that they have a voice.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so I pray that our young people not be in so much fear that they can't get in touch with the place of them that can be leaders.
Yes, yes.
And that they can make a difference.
Yes, yes.
Because their anxiety is so high right now, I pray that that be lifted and that they can see more clearly that the world can be better with their help.
Yeah, yeah. Amen. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. Who will be next? Okay.
I pray for, and I hope that we will all pray for the people that are living through the disaster of that hurricane
Absolutely.
that came through. And this is ongoing. They told us that this is what was going to be like, that getting help was going to be more difficult as they became bigger. So I hope that we can have a change of mind across the board, a consensus that we need to do something about climate change.
Absolutely. And you should know that the UCC is actively supporting victims of the money that we've sent to the UCC being used to provide support and relief on the East Coast. I'm happy to share that with you. Who will be next? Okay.
So that just reminded me, speaking of the hurricane, I'm praying for the fear-mongering to stop.
Yes, say it.
I saw a post
Say
the
it.
other day where someone was saying, don't send your money to FEMA because FEMA's using the money for immigrant. I'm just like
Yep,
ridiculous things.
Yep.
And all the lies that are perpetuated, because even if you don't listen, it's still creating this overarching air of mistrust, like there, or an undercurrent of mistrust, and we have to call it out, and just people need to stop. It's horrific.
And you should know that that was a great tee-up for bad faith that we're showing. We're showing bad faith today in our sanctuary at 12 o'clock, and what you said connects beautifully with the intent of the film, the fear-mongering, and so many other topics. So thank you for that little commercial for bad faith. Yeah, great segue. We're showing it at 12 o'clock today. We're having lunch at 11:30. Who's next? Okay. Great Spirit, thank you for opening us, as Patricia said, giving us the invitation to go inside ourselves, to be curious about that which needs tending to, what needs a little more curiosity in our lives, what needs our attention. Thank you for that invitation, great lover. And now give us the courage and the strength to ask what's the next step, and then to see it through with the help of those we love and those who care for us. Thank you, Great Spirit, for that invitation. And then thank you that we all have the opportunity to find our way to this for ourselves. There's no test, there's no litmus, none of that. No. You simply seek a willing heart and an open mind. We'll do our part, and we'll trust you to handle the rest. Amen. 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 Okay. Let us now create a moment for our giving, for our offering. Kate, let's bring the plates. I want to thank you for your financial support for NCC. It makes a huge difference. Because I got to tell you, we got to pay for stuff. We're paying for lawyers. We're paying for consultants. We're paying for things. So your money makes a difference. It allows us to do all the good work that we're doing on your behalf. So thank you in advance. Whether it's a large gift, a small gift, somewhere in between, I am grateful. I thank you so much. While you do that, let's talk about some favorite things.
I need Karen McBride here, and I just got a message. Jim wasn't feeling well
Yeah,
this morning,
I
so
saw
let's
that.
put him in our prayers.
I saw that. Yep.
You all remember this, right? Are there any lyrics up there? Ah, there they are, and talk about joy. Do you want to sing it again? Okay, you're all nuns right now. You're a nun. Go ahead, Ed. Girls.
Let's have a hand for Roxanna Ward, everybody.
And thank goodness for Rodgers and Hammerstein. That's all I have to say.
I still thank you, my friend. Thank you. All right, let's do this. Let's create a moment of gratitude for the food, for the hands who prepared it, for the hearts that put their great spirit all into it. And then we have great gratitude for our guests who will join us to watch the movie, for our special guest director who will have a conversation with us, and then, of course, for everyone in the room, that we might learn something, be stretched, perhaps expanded, something we can take with us, something we can share with others. I pray for our screening. I pray for our lunch. I pray for great spirit to be with us each and every step of the way. Amen. Amen. And may it be so. May it be so. All right. Let us stand and make our way out of the room and make our way over to Bridge Hall. Roxanna's going to be playing My Favorite Things as you walk, but make your space in Bridge Hall. Let's prepare to eat at about 11:30, and then we're back here at 12 o'clock sharp.